work at Chainlink Labs. I'm actually from Miami, so it's really nice to be home for this. How many people are actually from Miami here? I'm just curious. 2 people, 3. I hail from West Kendall originally, Braddock High. All right. Well, if you guys are cool,
I'm ready to rock. Let's go.
Let's do it. Start.
Yeah. Get it on.
I mean, as always, I like to start from the top. So, sorry. Oh, thanks. Let's start from the top. I mean, I feel like both you, Dave and Dante, you guys have such an interesting background. I just kind of want to start there. Like, how did you tell us about your professional background and how you ended up in the Web3 space?
Okay, I'll start. My name is Dave Broome. I'm the CEO of Orange Comet. My background is in film and television. I started producing in the late 90s, award shows, music specials on network television, NBC, ABC, Fox. There was no streaming platform back then. Netflix, Amazon, that shit wasn't around. And I got from that into the unscripted reality space. Reality television was taking off at that time. So I started a production company, and I started to produce all kinds of reality shows. Early 2000s, I created The Biggest Loser, which was the weight loss series that ran on NBC and around the world, actually. And I executive produced that for almost 14 years. And I went from The Biggest Loser. I've done thousands and thousands of hours of television and film. Sylvester Stallone and I put on Netflix's very first unscripted show called Ultimate Beastmaster, which is an insane physical obstacle course that makes American Ninja Warrior look like child's play. So you can still see that. And just prior to becoming the CEO of Orange Comet, I was filming Jennifer Lopez for the last 4 years. So made her documentary feature that is also out on Netflix called Halftime, which we were down in Miami filming, part of her halftime, part of the Super Bowl performance here during halftime, but it covered a whole span of her life and career. More importantly for the Web3 space, and this will transition over to Dante, we built a very high-end 3D digital design studio for almost 20 years. And that's how we ultimately wanted to get into Web3. We saw an opportunity a couple of years ago to do something that we felt was elevating the space from a storytelling standpoint and from a production standpoint. And I'm not commenting on digital artists because art is art, but more about taking properties, brands, entertainment, music, sports, celebrity. We did the Anthony Hopkins project as a partnership, which we'll talk about tonight. But we saw that opportunity to be able to come into the space and really engage a fan base, the enthusiasts in Web3, but then trying to expand beyond that. Because my goal as the CEO of this company is to take this incredible technology in the blockchain and the amazing world around Web3 and bring new people into this space as well. So with that, I'll toss it over to Dante because he is our Chief Creative Officer and the man who does the brilliant work along with our team behind some of the most insane, animations and 3D work, I think, that's out in this space right now.
Thank you, Dave. That's a great introduction, not just for you, but also for me as well.
Yes.
So, guys, I'm a creator. I'm an artist first. And, I've been working with Dave for, as he said, almost 20 years. Some of the things that he mentioned, like Ultimate Beastmaster, we sort of worked on those together and really built out the biggest set ever done. You can stream those on Netflix as well. For myself, when I first started, it was Web 2.0. It was still back then, reveals our age. And that was as exciting a moment as it is now in Web 3. Everything was new back then. VC firms were going crazy, tech firms were going nuts, and everything was unsettled web-wise. Going forward from that, for myself, it was really learning about 3D space and learning about gaming development. I worked at Condé Nast for many years. We built an archive sort of software utility that let me curate photos for all of the top magazines. And this is Vogue, Vanity Fair, Architectural Digest. What that taught me was sort of the beauty of photography, amazing artists out there, learning all of this. And then we got into VFX, 3D space, visual effects and animation, and that's really become the most important thing for me. 3D is a huge part of what we do Everything that we do is based on incredibly advanced 3D likenesses. So if you see our Walking Dead collection, for example, the likenesses of Michonne or Daryl are exactly lifelike. Those are characters that we want to bring into a gaming interface with that same exact fidelity. We're building proprietary tools to allow us to do that now. Now, after all these years, I think working with all top brands, I feel like, as most of you guys, creators out there, all of this has brought me to this point. All of that work, whether it's Web 2, technology, blending with art, blending with music, it's really just led up to being able to do these projects that we're here doing today. I feel like, and I joke with Dave, that we were just preparing for this. And it's funny because we just started a couple of years ago as Orange Comet, an entertainment company that works on blockchain projects, but we really started this decades ago. I first brought up 3D to Dave, said, hey man, reality shows are cool, but let me show you what we can do in 3D.
But they're fucking trash, so let's get out of that.
It's like The Biggest Loser is cool, but here's what we can do in 3D. So we started working on that way, way back when. And sort of out of the pandemic, I think, the excitement that really brought Web3 to the forefront. And it wasn't just the crypto-specific madness that was going on. It was really the chance to do something new, to really embark on an adventure. I know it sounds a little bit kind of like esoteric, but it's really the excitement of doing the work that we do every day that makes me wake up in the morning. I have an amazing team of designers. I'm also a chef that cooks quite a bit. And I'm telling you, every day I repeat the same mantra. If they're not doing the best work they've ever done, I want them to come talk to me, and I want to figure out why. We're going to change that. Every day is a chance to do the best work you've ever done. The best project you've ever done is the current one, and we hope to maintain that, and we try to do the best work ever.
And before I get back to you, this space needs phenomenal work. That is how it's going to move forward. You cannot put out 10,000 profile pictures of some cartoon and expect it to grow in Web3 or to get new people into this space. So I'm sure we'll talk about that.
But to chime in to that point for just 1 second.
Well, you're not part of this at all.
No, but this is an important point. We are not talking about individual artists here. There are so many incredible artists that we respect, that I love. But what we're doing is partnering with IP owners, with brands, with these sort of situations that haven't quite happened successfully yet. And I think we're executing well. The only way that you can do that is with authenticity and integrity. When we do something for The Walking Dead, it doesn't feel or look like a license deal, like some sort of, toy figurine that you buy at a store. There are fans of the show that believe in the work, that love it, that print out books of it, and we're excited by it. Anyway, I will let you moderate.
Well, and such a big part of Web3 is the community and fan bases, and that's exactly
Massive.
what you guys are tapping into.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about the beginning of Orange Comet.
So I'll tell you the beginning real quick. I'll do this very quick. Try to talk in some sound bites.
We'll see.
Yeah. Look, when I got a phone call, I had 7 different television shows and 1 film that I was about to be in production or was in production with. But COVID hit, and we got stopped down. And like everything, the entertainment industry shut down during COVID. So I was hanging out in my house, and the president of our company, Will Maris, who I know for many, many years, called me up and said, hey, look, we've been looking at the Web3 space. He's an entrepreneur and says, I really think that there's a huge opportunity there, and I want you to come and run the company. To which I turned him down. And I said, look, I built a production company for 25 years. I'm not going to move off of that. I've had plenty of opportunities to sell my company and move into Web3, even though 2 years ago, way before it was in the zeitgeist, I knew Web3, I knew NFTs, I knew blockchain technology. Of course, I know it much better now. But it was well before we were hearing about it every single second. But he said, just give this some thought. And something was kind of gnawing at me. And the more I looked at the space, the more I was kind of confused. Quite honestly, I was confused. And I got excited at the same time. I was confused because I thought, what the fuck are people really buying here at the end of the day? Like, what is this? And
you were asking the utility
question.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm looking for the utility. I'm looking for the value. I'm looking for the value proposition, not speculation. Everyone in this space up to this point has been in a speculative piece. How can I buy something low and sell it high? There's nothing wrong with that. But my approach and my thought was, screw that. How do we get people to really get excited around what they're actually purchasing? How do they get the community? How's their real utility? How is their work that's involved in that project that they want to get so engaged in that they feel like, fuck, man, if I make money in it, great. But what's the fundamental behind what I'm actually buying? So I thought, okay, either I'm missing something or there's a huge opportunity. We said, let's give this a shot. Called Dante up and I said, here's what we're about to do. I didn't even give him a choice. And of course.
Oh, I had the choice. And the choice was made immediately. I was like, that sounds damn interesting.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Let's give
And
it a
that's
full
what
shot.
I want to hear about next, like from the creative standpoint, what you were thinking in the beginning of Orange
Yeah,
Comet.
he should take it. But that's exactly how the company was born.
In the beginning, there was. No, the creative is really, I think, what drives everything forward. And I think I've already been speaking to you guys about that as well. For us, I think it's viscerally the first thing that you see, the first thing that you interact with. It's the first thing that your eyes set, foot on, literally. So every pitch that we do, every IP that has come on board with us has literally been attracted by the creative standpoint. Yes, there is technology. Yes, it's Web3.
Wait, you got like you got like a 380 jet flying overhead.
That sounds good.
That's a wide body.
It's a huge comet ride, guys, just like that plane up there. I feel like we started a year and a half ago, and it was just 4 guys and an idea, and I think we ballooned up. And why did we balloon up? It wasn't speculation, like Dave said. It wasn't just crypto madness. It wasn't just sort of trying to invest in something right away. It was the ideas that we had, I believe. The ideas that we wanted to go forth. The pitches that we put in front of studios and other companies that never heard those before.
Right. And to that point, we went and knocked on the doors of where I had relationships, obviously, within Hollywood. So we went to Warner Brothers and to NBC and to DreamWorks and to Sony and to Universal Music and Universal Studios and started to show them our work. And they knew me as a producer, and they knew our work from, like Dante said, our kind of design work from main, graphic title openings to our shows. But what they saw in the Web3 space from us was kind of mind-boggling to them because they had not seen this level of production quality. And that's what
I think that's what I
changed it.
said to you when we were working on this
Anthony
announcement.
Hopkins.
Yeah, the Anthony Hopkins Eternal Collection and like how we work together with Chainlink. I said the production value on this is insane.
Yeah. And listen, I mean, Chainlink we're here because we love this company. That's the truth. I mean, I could have been talking to one person here tonight and it wouldn't have mattered to me because I'm really, Dante and I are so impressed with what Chainlink is doing.
But it's true, by the way.
It is very
He's not
true.
lying. Even before this all got put together, we were telling you earlier, in our first pitches, we always had ideas of how to use the oracles and do something, evolve a character over the arc of a franchise or a series, or do lots of things that are not really the current things that you might see. So we've been wanting to use Chainlink for a long time. We're just really proud. It's a gold standard. Thank you for having us.
No, for sure. We love to have you here. I do want to talk a little bit about the Anthony Hopkins NFT, the Eternal Collection. So if you guys could talk about that.
Yeah, I'll start,
how did
and then
Anthony
Dante can
Hopkins
take
even get involved in
I'll tell
this?
you, yeah. I'll give the backstory to Anthony Hopkins, and then I'll let Dante give the color to the creative. Amazing phone call, and I've been very fortunate in my career to work with some of the A-list celebrities. George Clooney and I produced stuff, and obviously Sly, and I've had crazy phone calls over my career. This one was the craziest, where I got a phone call from Anthony and his wife, Stella, who heard about us, knew through a bunch of friends in the industry what we were doing. In fact, Gloria and Emilio Estefan are founders in our company as well, and dear friends of ours and neighbors of yours here if you're in Miami. And they were close with Tony as well. And they saw our work. And he wanted to get into this space. This is an 84-year-old icon looking to get into Web3. We didn't go to him and say, hey, Tony, we've got an idea for... I'm calling him Tony, by the way, because he will not let you call him Anthony, which is fucking great. But
Okay, I
He
noticed
gave
that
us
on
permission.
our-
He gave us permission. He
yeah,
did.
he's like, I said, I don't think I can call you Tony. He's like, you must. I said, okay, I will. So, you're like, do you call him Sir Anthony Hopkins? What do you call him? He said, call me Tony. So, but it's an amazing statement to take an 84-year-old guy who's a legend in Hollywood, who wanted to come and was just absolutely thrilled with the prospect of Web3 and NFTs and what that could do for him. And this is the key component, and I'm going to let Dante give you the context of this. Besides being this unbelievable actor, he's a real artist, a legit artist. His artwork sells for hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, millions of dollars.
And a poet. I was like, how endearing is this?
And by the way,
And a composer.
So this guy's the quadruple threat. But what made it so great was we know that the Web3 community is full of beautiful artists, real people doing amazing work. And so we thought we can take that and blend it with the kinds of archetypes, we call them, with the characters that he's played over the years. Not Hannibal Lecter, but the monster behind Hannibal Lecter. And that's where it started. And then I'll let Dante pick up the creative.
I was going to say, I wanted to ask you about the archetypes because I loved everything, just the way that you built that.
The archetypes, we're going to get to the archetypes shortly because it's important. And I didn't come up with the archetypes. This is something where, imagine, guys, you've all pitched clients, you've all pitched partners. You get on a Zoom call, your first time meeting Anthony Hopkins. He tells you to call him Tony. You've got some ideas for him, and you're thinking, I'm a fan. I know what this man does. How are we going to bring him into Web3, do something cool that people will like and enjoy and not feel like it's a money grab? How is this going to become a successful project? You've got all these things running in your head. Before I could utter a word, he launched into the biggest gift we could ever get. And I'm telling you, we recorded this. He regaled us with a 40-minute monologue. I'm telling you, I don't know where it came from. It could not have been rehearsed. It sounded like Robert Ford out of Westworld. He just went insane about existentialism and, philosophy, the birth of life, machines, our brains, psyche. He also went into the demons because, as you know, he's also gone through some crazy times himself as he was young. And not just the roles that he played as a film star or the music or the paintings. After these 40 minutes of incredible, I swear our jaws were on the floor.
Were you furiously writing?
No, we recorded it. We recorded the whole thing.
We're going to put it out. We recorded it.
We recorded it. Yeah.
Crazy.
We transcribed it.
It was a Zoom, so we recorded and recorded the entire Zoom, so we have it all.
You need to put that in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we'll put it in the movie.
He basically painted all of these archetypes in this conversation. He didn't say it explicitly, but he gifted everything over to us. We walked away from that call saying, we know exactly what we're going to do.
And he was intricately involved. And this is important. If anyone here is a creator and you're working with talent, you can't force something on a piece of talent. It never works. You need a talent to be a partner with you. If you're going to take someone like Anthony Hopkins, it's one thing if we went to Anthony and said, hey, Tony, you want to do a Web3 NFT project? And he goes, yeah, all right, let me think okay, I will. Now I'm kind of dragging him in a little bit, right? And we're like, okay, listen, here's what we'll do. How about this? How about that? And it'd be like, all right, you never have them. You never have that person. Yeah. And that is almost destined to fail because you're kind of, and I've learned this as a TV producer, you're kind of shoving an idea down a piece of talent's throat rather than him taking ownership in this and saying, this is my idea.
Well, and he's a true artist, so it has to be a collaboration, right?
Very much.
And one thing, and maybe this question is more for you, Dante, but you've worked with big brands, right? I mean, obviously AMC for The Walking Dead, and then there's also the NHL that you work with.
Well, yeah.
How is the approach different from when you go to...
I'm going to say something about The Walking Dead, which is AMC.
Go for it.
This is the same as with Anthony Hopkins. And it's super important to realize. A lot of people say, did you just basically come up with the idea, like Dave was saying, and just give it to him and accept it? Even with The Walking Dead, we are not doing a licensing deal of any sort. It's a true partnership. We work with the showrunners and make sure they approve our walkers. They approve our narratives, our concepts. We are writing essentially additional content. We are extending their content. That's why I think for the fans, there's really some integrity there. And I think it
next week, I think it's next week, off of the success of The Walking Dead, AMC came to us and said, couple of weeks, 2 weeks. Let's move now into the next partnership with the Anne Rice properties. Anne Rice sold 150 million books. Interview with
Might
a
have heard of
Vampire.
her.
Right. Interview with a Vampire, which is now a new show on AMC. We're about to launch the Immortal Universe, which Dante and the team are creating coffins for vampires and all the craziest shit you've ever seen, all to bring you into a Web3 world.
That speaks to my goth heart. Yeah.
So we haven't even made that announcement yet, have we?
We have not. Super goth. And we will be using Chainlink on that. And not just
The
for
Chainlink
randomization.
has this exclusive.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to talk, going back to the Anthony Hopkins NFT, it had utility, which we mentioned earlier. Can you talk a little bit about
I gotta
what
tell
utility?
you something. I mean, that's a great setup. I'm looking at my Twitter just a little while ago, and I just showed this to Dante. This came in hours ago on Twitter. This guy, I don't know, Mr. Twitter NFT.eth. It says, here's what he posted about 6 hours ago. He said, all I want to say is thank you, Sir Anthony Hopkins, and thank you, Orange Comet NFT. Today, I received the best anticipated Christmas gift, the Dreamscapes book, which I'll tell you about in a second, called From the Eternal Collection. My Rebel is a winner, and so am I. NFT community, this is utility. Fire, fire, fire. And so what was really
It's a
interesting.
beautiful book.
So we did a lot of utility, which is so critical, as we all know, in this space. There's got to be value beyond this and a community beyond this, right? So for Tony, he had a gorgeous book of like a coffee table book of his paintings. And what we included in the NFTs themselves were, I can't remember how many, 33 lucky people of the 1,000 or maybe 100 people of the 1,000, I can't remember again, got an autographed real book from him. And we videotaped him actually signing the book and authenticating it that way. So there's real world, a real world piece. Now, on top of that, we're doing Zoom meetings with Anthony, and we're doing, somebody got or is about to get a real dinner, brunch, whatever Tony feels. If he's hungry for brunch, it'll be brunch. If he wants dinner, we'll fucking pay for the dinner, right?
Tony decides.
But whatever it's going to
for
be,
sure.
Tony decides. But imagine, again, taking a legendary icon in Anthony Hopkins and have an opportunity for a fan to be able to really sit across from him at a dinner. It's almost one of those, and this is where I love the utility in some of these projects. And I've seen him out there in a lot of projects, and some people do a really beautiful job to give them credit. In our case here, we felt, what's something that money can't buy? Well, spending a night with Sir Anthony Hopkins and just learning from him, asking him questions. If you're an actor, an artist, a fan, whatever, that's where I think NFTs, can bring
I really
so
hope
much.
he's going to give him a 40-minute monologue.
He'll be more than
He's going to have to
Full
recreate
utility.
it. And by the way, language is not a problem, guys. We've had a couple of fans who were like, I love Anthony Hopkins. I don't speak English. I don't want to be on the Zoom. And we're like, it's okay. It's okay. Just get on with it.
So the utility is important, right? We all know that. And I think we're seeing that the more that Web3 and blockchain and NFTs are evolving beyond, again, just art, but to a real purpose, a real community, a real utility, that is becoming more and more increasingly important. That's a horrible sentence. It's becoming increasingly important.
Yeah, I imagine for celebrities, it's a great way to just like actually have a meaningful like
Fan
touch
base,
point
yeah.
with their fan base.
Well,
yeah.
We're going to make an announcement in a couple of days here, another scoop with Scottie Pippen from the NBA. So again, approached us, want to do an NFT, a digital wearables line of sneakers. You're about to see the sickest shit, I think, in this space. Artifact does a beautiful job of it, and we love their work. And so we're trying to do some of our own spin on that. But again, we turned down a lot of celebrities. I can't tell you how many, again, because of my relationships as a producer. These celebrity projects, if they're not real, if they're not genuine, if they're not authentic, it's not going to work. And the community, when I say community, I'm talking about the crypto enthusiasts, the Web3 enthusiasts, the NFT enthusiasts. They don't give a shit about the celebrity unless they're really engaged.
And Dante, you mentioned earlier from the very beginning wanting to put, like you mentioned kind of dynamic NFTs, you wanted to use the technology, right? So I guess I want to hear from you for the Chainlink part of the utility, like how you came to that decision, and for those that don't know, like what did Chainlink do for this collection?
Well, so we can keep things incredibly simple, guys, because sometimes the simplest ideas are the best. When we were pitching clients, we'd always say things like, hey, we want to use this product, we want to use the oracles, we want to communicate with off-chain data, we want to bring this, we want to evolve all the NFTs. And that's just the beginning of an ecosystem. We're now getting involved in a lot of Web3 gaming, and I think Chainlink is going to help us quite a bit with a rewards-based system, helping to enable players feel like they can perform and play and earn and collect without actually cheating. I think for certain projects, guys, I'll tell you something, the simplest things sometimes work really well, and I'll speak to engineers in the crowd as well. For example, take this example. For the coffins for Interview with the Vampire, we thought, let's do something crazy, machine learning, AI. No, let's do the simplest thing. Let's read the user's browser's time and open or close the coffin, because vampires, they play at night and the coffins are open, or they close during the day. That is such a simple use case, it's cool, and I think the design is what really makes it. When you consider weather and location, you can do things like, oh, let's pop a fireplace on. Let's make it cozy for the vampires. It's the day after Mardi Gras. Well, all of a sudden, we've got some beads and some stuff hanging outside the coffin. Maybe they had an extra friend. There's going to be some blood or clothing items there. So we're creating this situation, and it's really simple, but it's gamifying the NFTs a bit. And we're not just displaying these on marketplaces. We're creating preview gallery sites, and they're all going to be involved in an immortal universe, which is what we're building for Anne Rice.
You guys make it seem so effortless, but there have to have been like some difficult parts to all of this, right? What would you say were some of like the roadblocks? What have you had to overcome?
I would like to speak to this. And guys, by the way, Dave and I are always pitching all of our clients. I'm on a probably
partners.
A long, exactly, IP partners. I'm on a long stint of sleepless nights because we are in the thick of it, developing stuff. And you guys all know what it's like when you're in the crunch, the deep crunch. And I'll say this because I've said this before. Do not engage in what's called crunch culture, right? Do not engage into something that's going to take away your work-life balance. However, be proud of what you do and give it your best when you need to. Wake up in the morning, do your best work, as I said. Bring the team together, lead the team, make sure everyone feels balanced. Grow your team that way, not just your community. Your people are the most important thing. For you guys out there that are entrepreneurs putting companies together, a year and a half ago, there was 4 of us. We're now growing to 80 plus. We could be hiring a lot more people. We are choosing who to bring on because it's a family. We want to like who we work with every single moment of every day. Everyone on my team is a rock star without the ego. Everyone on the team works really, really well together. That's the most important thing. That's how we can produce and execute on incredible deadlines. So I'll speak to challenges.
And I'll talk about the challenges. Look, this is a new space, right? We're not even in the first inning of Web3. Everyone is figuring this out. I think anyone who says that they're an expert is wrong, because I just don't think anyone could be an expert yet. We're all finding successes and we're finding failures. Some of my, I've made a lot of television shows and I've learned the most from the failures. That's the cliche. You always learn from the shit that you mess up on, or you should learn from it. We've made so many mistakes in the last 2 years of this company. But it's not about that. It's really that, because I don't ever care as a CEO about making the mistake. Because the other cliche is if you're really not making the mistakes, then you're not trying hard enough. And so it's really about correcting and learning from the mistake, right? If we make a mistake once, I'm fine on it. Because we said, okay, shit, we tried it. It didn't work. Here's what we need to do to adjust. If we make the mistake twice, then I start to get frustrated. So it's really about taking and pushing it out there. And really, we're trying to push some limits on a lot of things. I mean, I can't tell you how many people said to us, you can't do that. It's not going to work. And of course, it's all about your passion and your belief. When I first created The Biggest Loser, my agent at the time tried to convince me not to pitch the show. He said, no one's going to buy a weight loss series. And people have tried to do that over the years. And I said, I don't care. I believe in it, and I know how to do it. I have a vision on it, and you persevere through that. Same thing in this Web3 space, right? We're all trying to figure it out together. The FTXs of the world, fuck them. That doesn't help. But that's a side. That kind of shit is going to happen.
Well, you were telling me about Tony's wife giving you that call after all of the negative comments.
Right.
I'd love to hear like how
Well,
all that went down.
I tried to prep Stella, Anthony Hopkins' wife, Tony's wife, who is really a dominant and very smart woman and involved with Tony every step of the way. And I said to her in advance, I said, listen, the second Tony posts on Twitter that he's involved in an NFT project, stand by, because shit is coming down. You're going to get the haters. Just ignore it. Don't pay attention. Let's keep course. Well, I was in New York at the time. He posts, and I'm telling you, 30 minutes later, my phone is ringing, and she's freaking out because the comments on social, no, Tony, not you. Oh, my God, NFTs?
I mean,
really?
that's an obstacle right there, right?
Holy shit, what are you doing? And I had to talk her off the ledge, and I said, listen, we believe in this project together, don't we? We feel great about the work that we're about to put out, don't we? And we did, by the way. We're very passionate about it. This guy, I mean, amazing stuff. But we knew it. We felt it. You can never guarantee a success in anything, right? Never. The only thing you can guarantee is what you put into it and your effort and your passion. And you walk away, you say, I did everything I could. If it works, great. The worst feeling in the world is to put something out and go, man, shit, if we just would have done this, or if we just that's a horrible feeling. Anytime I made a television series that didn't work and I felt like I left something on the table, I don't sleep. So he got a lot of shit, and we said, this is going to change. I promise you the tide will change. This is the vocal minority. Ignore it. Let's plow forward. And sure enough, within a day, people started to reach out to him. G Money, who's now involved in Orange Comet on our advisory board, reached out to him. We went on G Money's podcast. The community started to embrace this guy because they saw what he really wanted to do. And that's the power of what we're all building here, which is amazing. So, we know haters are going to hate, and that's just it. But the truth of the matter is that the technology and the opportunity in blockchain and Web3 is so freaking awesome. It is game-changing technology. It really is, right? We know we're talking about, entertainment properties, music properties. But this year, I will guarantee you that you're going to start to see medical records, driver's licenses, anyone owns a home, your title, your mortgages. That's going to live on a blockchain because that's what the technology can really do. And that bodes well for everything we're building in Web3.
Yeah, I talked to you guys about that earlier.
Much of that thanks to Chainlink, by the way, all the stuff that he just said.
Yeah, I was going to say, I talked to you guys about that earlier and how crazy it is that somebody's going to get their first wallet to buy this NFT, and they're onboarded onto Web3.
That's right.
It's amazing.
That's right. And look, the wallet, the onboarding process, we know, and Dante and I, the whole team are working on this. It's like, can we cut out 19 of the 20 steps it takes to set up a wallet so we can try to figure out how to get more people into this? Yeah. And that is a goal. As the industry continues to grow and we make it easier and not as scary to get people to kind of sign up for a wallet, we're gonna continue to grow as an industry.
What about from the creative side? Any obstacles or just excitement, I guess?
Obstacles in building the production is one thing. Obstacles in the reception of it is another. We've been fortunate in that we've put so much detail into the work that the fans have always responded truthfully to it. That's a simple thing. Challenges are, how do you produce things with a small team that should take 100 people in a bigger studio?
By the way, Stella Hopkins just texted me. As somewhere,
she knows what we're doing. She knows what we're doing.
No, she does not. But let's go ahead, keep going. I'm going to read it out loud.
How do you equate what
How's
you're
our
doing?
Basel going? She wants to know. Let's show you how engaged they are. Go ahead.
Plug Chainlink.
On the challenges, guys, I think that the biggest thing that you can do is not think about the audience that you're after, is do the work that you believe in. Don't look sideways. Don't say I'm doing this for the Web3 audience or for the Web2 audience that I want to onboard and cross-board and re-centralize or decentralize. That's not the right approach. I'm not saying go with your gut. Go with data, because we love data. I'm an artist, but I love data. We just don't have years of metrics. We don't have all that data. We're just starting to build it up now. Do work that you believe in and study the data. I think that's how we get through it. I mean, for me, one of the biggest compliments is to have somebody that on our Discord for Walking Dead says, man, how did I just spend $3-4 grand on NFTs for The Walking Dead? I never even saw a damn frame of the show. And then you've got guys who have been like watching it since they were 10 and they're now 21. And they're like, holy crap, I'm old enough to buy this stuff now. I've been waiting forever. So production is a huge challenge. I think that, you know, for us, getting through the big studio thing when we didn't have a big studio and now we're growing the team, it's amazing. We've had so many companies say, oh, how large is your team? You know, it took 80 people to build X animation. We did it at the time with 5, and then we did it with 10, with 20. Amazing stuff. It takes a lot of work.
I want to hear what both of you are excited for. What's something that's coming up that just like really...
Project? Are you talking about a project?
Yeah, project. I mean, anything really, whatever you want to share.
The idea that, you know, we talk about NFTs because they're the entry, they're the gateway, they're the amuse boost, they're the appetizer. We're building whole ecosystems. It's not just about narrative or cinematic shots or scenes. It's not about games, collector, but it is all of that. I don't like the word metaverse, but I love immersive experiences. We have a team that's been working with MIT. You know, they've been working with the HoloLens project. They're now on board with us. They're helping us build our AR, VR, you know, XR experiences. And I think that's just kind of changing the way we think about things. By the way, for those of you who think the metaverse is a place, I'm here to tell you it's a time, it's not a place. What time is it? It's the time when all of us believe that the asset you're holding digitally is actually worth more than your real counterpart. People that believe that their properties in the metaverse or in that universe are actually worth as much as anything you would buy in the real world. That's when everything changes. You guys are already there, but when your friends, your cousins, your mother, you know, your mother is there, that's when it becomes real. This is all about to happen. This is the most enjoyable part of the ride for us because we are not breaking the rules, we are making the rules because there are none. We're inventing it as we go along. That's why Dave said anyone that tells you they know what they're talking about, they're full of shit because it's true. Run from them. We are all discovering things every day. And 5 years from now, when everything is settled, if you don't like what's there, it's because you weren't involved in building something right now. This is the time to discover, develop, and put stuff out there. We are trying our best. We're working hard to do it. And we want to bring new brands, new IPs, even our own, to the marketplace. We want to open up. We don't want Web3 to be limited to a niche, to a specific audience. But again, it's tough to cross-board. There's audiences that do not care, or you know, the right clickers, or all kinds of ridiculous names that you can call people. I think that we can all come together. This is just part of our existence. We just work on it a little bit day by day.
I love that. Do you guys want to take some questions from the audience? I'd like.
Sure. Any,
Would
if anyone
love
has
that.
any.
We love questions.
Yeah, raise your hand. I'll come over.
So I love what you're saying about all the whole metaverse thing. So we see companies in the bear market like the Sandbox, Decentraland, having brands like Gucci, Nike getting on their metaverses. I want to know your opinion on what's the real utility of these brands paying millions of dollars, doing PR and marketing campaigns around it, while honestly nobody goes onto the Sandbox or Decentraland. So I want to see your take on that, and what do you see in the future, the utility of the metaverse?
I'll take that to start. I think that's an awesome question, by the way. And I'll start by saying this. There are companies that are paying those millions of dollars, those Gucci's, Vuittons that are starting those. There are also other people that like on Roadblocks. Have you checked how much advertising is on Roadblocks? It's cheap as hell. Get on there and put your brand on there. Get the best advertising you can for nothing or next to nothing. I think that those brands are trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to see what works because they don't know. I think that brands don't know how to get into the metaverse space. They're trying. There's no format standards yet. You know, We're part of the consortium. You guys can sign up as well. We all get to decide what the formats are. Until there's one format or a few standardized formats, there's just a different bunch of places that you can go on, and some people go and some people don't. I think that the world is moving to a place where that's going to be useful. Wearables are going to be an amazing part of next year, I believe. I think there's a huge market for an exciting collection, your haul, things that you can have in that space. It just hasn't really been executed that well yet. Not because people aren't doing great work, but because the tech is catching up to what can possibly be done to it. That's a start of an answer, by the way. We can talk more about that.
Yeah, and I also think that whether it's, I'm not a fan of Sandbox, and I'm just gonna be honest about it. You know, I love the effort, but I hate the fidelity, and I don't think that that's what the audience and fans ultimately want. I think it. I was look. I'm the oldest one in this room by fucking 20 years. I guarantee it. I was a huge Atari fan. That's all I played as a kid. I personally don't want to go back to that look. In that kind of a metaverse world, in a virtual world. I want to move it to where you're in this enriched environment, and if you're Gucci or you know, a brand, Prada, someone, I feel like in order to engage the fans and the enthusiasts, you need to excite them. And I don't think there's anything exciting beyond the initial tech of getting in there. And like, just think about the video game world. Just think about, you know, there's a reason why gamers have shunned away NFTs, because, you know, there's really no value add that the gaming company's been able to give to them. It's like, I've already purchased the game. Why are you making me pay for something that really doesn't mean much to me, or doesn't really help me, or doesn't give me a true value? And so I think that you're going to see all of these areas improve. Look, I'm not looking to, how about that shit in the Sandbox? You know, that's not really what I'm trying to do, because I applaud the effort. I just don't think that's the future. You know, I just don't think it's the future. I think these are steps to what we're all going. And Dante's right. Look, this metaverse, you know, it's so hard. You guys, we're all in this. But the world doesn't, they're so confused about what a metaverse, like, they think it's a you know, how do I get to the metaverse? They're like, they don't even understand it, most people. You guys probably know, so you're talking to your friends. It's so confusing. So we've got to hopefully fix that. But last point on this. I agree with Dante. Let's applaud the brands, the Gucci's, the Pradas, the you know, all of the fashion wearables, for attempting to get into the space. And actually, look, some of them are doing a great job of it. You know, outside of Sandbox, by the way, you know, they've had some great projects. And I want to see more of that, because I want to see, I want the game to elevate. I want the whole space to elevate.
I think we had somebody else over here that wanted to ask.
Is there anybody else we want to ask, or are we good? Okay, one more question, then we will wrap it up.
Thank you. So obviously, being a Web3 company, you have access to the Web3 community. Obviously, as a Web3 company, you have access to the Web3 community. Besides that, what is a major benefit you've seen being a Web3 company over a Web2 company?
Well, I'll say the benefit of being a Web3 company is what the blockchain and the technology gets to offer, which is ownership, control. You know, you as a user get to control your assets. Does anybody here post on YouTube? Anyone? You know you don't own that, right? You can't do shit with that. In fact, when you check the box that says on the service agreement, you've given YouTube all your rights. And by the way, rightfully so, they created a great product. But you can't even sell advertising. Try putting a commercial in your own YouTube video. See what happens. That'll be gone in about a blink of an eye. So for Web3, we see the value in what the blockchain and the technology can really offer. a fan, a user, a company, because when the technology is really put to use, then you've got control over it. You own it. Remember, let's think about I'll answer this very quickly. To think about Web 3, we got to look at Web 1 and Web 2. We're in Web 2. Web 1 was read only, right? That's the early days of the internet. Give me the content, let me read it. Great. Web 2, which is what we're in, is read write. I get to read it, I get to write on it. Twitter, Facebook, social, post on YouTube. I can participate. Web 3, read own. I own it. I control it. And that's the exciting part of the technology. And that is why it doesn't matter about an FTX. It doesn't matter about an NFT. It doesn't matter about crypto. The technology behind what we're all involved in is fucking game-changing. And that's what will sustain Web 3 into the future.
I want to say one quick point on this, guys, and I agree with everything. I think it's a great question, but I want you guys to think about this. And I keep talking about the future. We talk about Web3 a lot, the Web3 community, the audience. I want you to think about the time that Web3 won't be a term anymore. Remember when people used to start websites saying www. That's what you're going to think in a few years from now. We're saying, man, remember when people used to talk about Web3 like that was a thing? Web3 is just part of the future. Think about the time when people stopped talking about Web3 and just say it's just the web. It's just how we connect. I think that's an important thing to think about. That's what we try to think about.
I just want to thank you guys. This was such a
Thank
great
you, guys.
conversation.
We really appreciate it. Thank you for.
Yeah, we can't take any more questions, but I do want to thank everybody for attending. We're going to be hanging out. Definitely check us out. We have a community online that you could be a part of, so we encourage you to meet us there. Thanks, everyone.